Hello. Well, today I'm going to talk about The Accountant 2. I got this not too long ago and figured I'd also talk about it. Overall, I enjoyed it. Not as good as the first film. Sequels generally aren't. Um, I do have the overall plot, the synopsis written over here. Because, overall, what's on the back does it does represent the film, but also there are certain things not so it keeps it vague enough for you to not totally know exactly what's certain things to kind of expect. For instance, Christian Wolf and his estranged brother Braxton bring that are being drawn into an investigation after the murder of former uh, Fenton director Ray King. King leaves a cryptic message for U.S. Treasury agent Mary Beth Medina to find Christian, who must team up with Braxton to solve the case. The investigation into the disappearance of the Sanchez family 8 years prior uncovers a human trafficking and corruption conspiracy, putting them into crosshairs with ruthless assassins. In the beginning, Ray tried to hire a mysterious assassin named Enos. Name is kind of, you know, it's not one I often see, so it's a little, difficult for me to properly pronounce. He tries to hire this woman to help find the Sanchez family, but as the film goes on, we find out more about her as Braxton, Medina, and Wolf all try to figure out why Ray would hire her in the first place, and you find out more about her, and it is interesting to watch. A big highlight is the fact that you get to see more of the relationship between Christian Wolf and Braxton. Both do an excellent job acting. And the action is very good. Um, yeah, Gavin O'Connor returns as the director. He made the first film. Now, this film is definitely a little disappointing in the sense, like, it's like this film tries to be very, complex, and when you really think about it, it's not as deep as it really needs to be. I will say, seeing J.K. Simmons' character get killed off, it was pretty um, disappointing. I get why they did that, but still, it's still disappointing all the same. Um, if you're going to, it would have been nice to have seen the fact that he, maybe even, I guess it would have been nice if Christian and him got to actually have a real interaction, unlike the first film, how they interact. Uh, Obviously, that's sort of in hindsight, in a way, when thinking about it. Would have been interesting just to see, um, how he could have possibly gotten Christian Wolf's previous, how he would have gotten his attention. Uh, I know another thing is that people have commented that how in 8 years since the first film in this you know timelines, how they didn't really you know the brothers didn't really connect, despite the fact that Christian said he would find him and I would call him and contact him and everything, but apparently in that time he never did. And I know a lot of people have criticized some of the way the autism that Ben Affleck's character has, Christian Wolf, and as well as some of the others they have. I know that I can kind of get it. Um, I did not see offhand, whether Bill DeBQ wrote the first film. He could have, actually. Right quick. Yep, he did write this. He wrote both. So yeah, the same, writing and directing and team and cast. Anna Kendrick is not in this film. That was something that people were disappointed with. And granted, with how the film goes, it does make one wonder whether or not she could have fit in here. But yeah, I mean, I do enjoy this overall. The action especially, that's really good. I do like seeing the brothers interacting. It's just, with they try to complicate things with the plot, and we really boil the plot down. Like I just read off what the plot was, with the conspiracy. I mean, granted, with child trafficking and everything, and people going from Mexico to the USA and being forced to do various things, and families being separated and all, but it's one of those things where it's sort of an open secret at this point. We all know it happens, just whether or not people are going to be able to do anything about it is another story. Also, considering this film came out 9 years after the original, I wonder if in that time, obviously there probably was various versions of this script, so I'm curious what all the other drafts were like, whether they were all similar to this or if they went through multiple changes. I don't know, because the Blu-ray as well as the 4K version, there's no actual special features on here, so there's no like featurettes or little documentaries of sorts, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I have the digital code already anyway, so that doesn't matter if you saw that. But yeah, I use that. But yeah, this film was made by Amazon MGM Studios, because Amazon owns MGM now, and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon produced this through their production company. Ben Affleck was a regular producer, while Damon was an executive producer. And yeah, overall, fine movie, good action. Yeah, performances overall were fine. It's just, I think the writing could have been better, but again, with the amount of time it took for this film to finally get made, I guess it's I guess it's really great that it happened at all. Um, they do hope to do a third film, and I definitely hope they do it in the next few years, and not almost a decade. Because that's one thing I don't really like when they do sequels like that. I mean, it's one thing if they purposely plan it out, but from what I remember seeing, the first film was made for 44 million, made 155.2 million. You know, made a good amount of money. Got mixed reviews. Affleck was praised, as was the action sequence, and that seems to be similar to this. Performances are generally praised, particularly with Affleck and Bernthal. I think people really like their chemistry together, and I do too. That was again a great highlight. But yeah, first film is really good. It's really excellent. This film is fine. I know sequels aren't always the best. Don't always, they're not always better than the first film. It's quite rare that a first or a second film is better than the first. Um, that's just how things are. Even if you have everybody back together to do the sequel, sometimes it doesn't live up to it. But I think this is one of them. But again, I found it fine. Again, I don't really rate these films on here on my channel, so I don't know what a rating would be. But not a bad film. Not an excellent. It's I think maybe a little above average because, action is good. But yeah, as well as some of the stuff that happens. I mean, I like the chemistry and all with these two, though there was a part where they go to a certain like bar. That was kind of interesting and different. And I still don't know what to think about that scene. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But they go to a bar and it's like some square dancing or some sort of dancing going on. I'm going to just assume it's some sort of square dance. But I've never really been to a bar that's like a cowboy or themed Western aesthetic where, there's a live band playing like that and playing like country music and such. And people might go up dance. I'm not familiar with that sort of bar, so still, it was an interesting way to see it conclude. I will say that it's kind of nice. But yeah, The Accountant 2, fine movie, not better than the first film, but action's good. The performances overall are good. Daniela Bonita, I believe that's her name, is the assassin at Simmons hired, so she's new. But yeah, fine film. If you've seen it, which if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it. I don't think it's going to be too expensive, especially with Black Friday coming soon. But yeah, if you've seen this film, what do you think? Do you enjoy it? Do you dislike it? Are you somewhere in the middle, where you like certain aspects of the film, or dislike certain aspects of it, or what are your thoughts? Yeah. I hope all of you are doing well. Please have a great day and a great weekend and a great week. It's just November, so Hope your November is going well. And I shall talk to you all next time. Please take care.